Hi. It's not a cold sore. Hold on 1 second. I know what to do. I think I know what to do to position this camera in the right spot. Hi guys. Swipe down. So how do I get rid of comments? No. Hide chat. Boom. Okay, perfect. I'm hiding the chat because I've got some. I don't want to get sidetracked, and I have an MO. Sorry. Okay, cool. Let's see how that works. I should have did this before. Okay, this is great. Ooh, moody. Okay, whatever. Hello. So, we did a gig tonight that was sensational and off the hook in every single way. Sensationally off the hook in every single way. 1 second. I've got my water. Got my little packs. Try not to smoke so much, like weed and stuff and cigarettes, so the packs helps. The jury's still out on the vape, you know? Fried pickles. So, I want to talk about something real, actually. Oh, good. The light casts a shadow on my not a cold sore. It's really not a cold sore. Well, it looks like a cold sore. Anybody ever watch Strangers with Candy? You gotta watch that. So, the show was crunk and lit and turned. That we all know. It was such a good show. But I did something very helpful tonight, and this video I would like for it to be helpful and somehow instructive. Maybe it'll just be embarrassing for me. That's always the risk. But guess what? Who cares? But so it has become very clear in a public way that that masculinity has reached a level of toxicity that has infected every single sector of civilization, human civilization, religion, institutionalized religion. And mostly we're talking about sex. We're talking about sex and violence, and also talking about sexual violence. We see it in the church. We see it in the mosques everywhere. And I think about, just to use an example, not to have a Catholic scapegoat, but the church priest, a sex abuse scandal that broke in the Boston Globe. You see the movie Spotlight. We've got politics, grab by the pussy. Entertainment now. Directors, actresses. And Hollywood's literally infested with rats. And we're shining a light, finally, after what? If you saw the Maureen O'Hara, the Irish actress, who wrote, what, in 1945? Earlier than that? Who knew? But she shunned by people because she didn't want to sleep with producers. Yada, yada, yada. And I've been thinking a lot about the male sexual dysfunction, the circumstances and the forces and the patterns and the everything that leads up to a man raping someone. Whoops. And so in all this hashtag Me Too stuff. So I was 30 when I decided that I need to get my jush in an anal way, receptively. Meaning, I haven't been fucked in the asshole before. Gay man, consider myself a top for the most part. Love ass. And then, but I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna train myself to be a bottom, because I want to live a Hannah Montana world, best of both worlds, mama. And so I got my little douche set, I got my little trainer set, because I want to ease in. Now, the idea of virginity in a gay man is ludicrous. And I'm not talking about Ludacris the rapper. Virginity, the concept of virginity only existed, it existed because it was a commodity. Virginity was something that was sold. It had value, monetary value, because it, determined the what purity of a bloodline. Whatever, blah blah blah. The promise of youth and the certainty that the waters haven't been muddied by another, whatever. Anyways. But I said I want to break my anal virginity, which is to say that I want to loosen up my asshole to take a dick. Hello. If I were a girl, I probably would have broken that habit myself in the comfort of my own boudoir with a very lovely phthalate-free set of little dildos. So, I've been practicing. I'm 35. This is 5 years ago. I just practiced. And then my year of whoring began. I decided that I wanted to sow my sexual oats, feel my oats, explore all of their rich, dewy textures. So I fucked around a lot. I had a lot of casual sex. Most of it was in drag, while I was in drag, and attracting a large segment of men who identified as straight. They identified as straight, and whether, we can argue or talk about, discuss, and pontificate, about what their actual sexuality is, but who cares? So I had this gentleman over, and basically what happened was, he had a small dagger dick. This motherfucker was sexy, but he had a small ass dagger dick, and what I mean by that is it was like a dagger. It was small, couldn't have been more than 4 inches hard, and it was a dagger. This fucking small ass dick got so deathly hard, it felt like it was made out of steel. It felt like it was made out of fucking aluminum, bronze, pewter, whatever. It was hard as hell. It was hard as a rock, and but prior to that, this gentleman and I had mostly engaged in sex where I fuck his butt with my ding-a-ling. I'm using the politically correct term for penis, which is ding-a-ling. And but what happened this time? So he was sexy as fuck, muscular. He was very passionate. He was hot in bed. This motherfucker was hot in bed, and he got into it. He liked to get fuck hard. Sorry, for kids, this is gonna get graphic. But then one time, I think it was the second or maybe the second time we hooked up. I lost my boner. I just lost my boner for whatever reason, and I think that was the first time in a very hot, passionate sexual encounter that had happened. So naturally, like any man, I completely flipped out. But then I got to thinking, I was like, oh shit, okay, so he really wanted to get penetrated, but I couldn't get hard anymore, and now I'm in my head, and it's not going to happen. Stay tuned later on for part 2, where I furiously scour the internet and then order Cialis from India. But for now, I thought, wait a minute, this is actually a great opportunity for me to kind of like ease into having receptive anal intercourse, because the dick is small and manageable. It's gonna stay hard because that thing is like a dagger, and I can really ease onto it and kind of get my jush. I had done the douche just in case prior to this, which is very important. So I was ready. So what I did, like a good girl, like a good, wonderful woman, a compassionate woman, was I went over to the corner of the bedroom. I got a little dildo piece and I kind of worked it up in there because I didn't want to just jam, like go on to, just like bounce off a trampoline and land on it spread eagle. That was going to hurt like hell. So I did that. And I said, well, why don't you fuck me? So we get in the bed and I ease onto it. I'm like, oh God, okay. Ugh. Didn't feel too good. That dagger dick didn't feel too good. And then we switched positions. And then we rolled to the side. And this is where it got a little cuckoo, a little scary, because at a certain point early on, it was like, you know what, this does not feel even remotely good. So my dick is not even anywhere near hard. I'm not enjoying myself. And I said, stop. And he didn't at all. So then I felt the pressure of him, you know, and I'm trying to squirm, and I'm squirming and trying to get away. Because here's the thing, for me personally, I don't get into any kink scenes. That's just not really. Maybe some role play stuff, but I don't really get into kink scene stuff. So, and I don't like pain. Pain for me is a very immediate, unambiguous, and just visceral turn off. I don't like it. I don't have any tattoos. I'm just a wimp for pain, and I don't like it. Sex is supposed to feel good for me. I want to feel good. I want to feel pleasure in every way. So he was, you know, he's fucking stabbing me with his goddamn dagger dick, and it does not. So it went from feeling not good to not right. And that was the transition. I was like, oh, this isn't right. Because not only is this not even pleasurable in any way, shape, or form, but this could also be hurting my body. And that fucking dagger dick was too much. And so I physically tried. I was like, okay, you gotta stop. You know, like, it was very clear, not like a, no, you know. And even then, so I was like, and he was like, just let me come. That's rape. That's rape. And, you know, I hadn't really thought about it too much because, like many, many people, and like many women and like many men, the whole situation, that event, that singular event, because nothing like that ever happened again with anybody. Thank God. But that singular event was clouded by a whole set of circumstances, such as I saw him again. I fucked the shit out of him again. You know, the next time, maybe it was in a few weeks or a few months, he to me was not a villain. He was a prick. Kind of a prick too, because I can tell. I mean, he was not a fun person to hang out with. I had a lot of encounters with men who identified as straight that I didn't want to see them during the day. You know, but these guys, they were in it. Once they hit it, they quit it. You know, we all know these guys, and most men are like that. Not, you know. You can get a hit it and compassionate quit it, a dignified hello and goodbye and good morrow to you, mom. But this motherfucker, it got rapey. It got straight up rapey, and you know, it occurred to me. I was like, because you know, there's no point. I didn't want to only talk about it just because. Oh, here's the fucking point. Long story short, there's a whole point. We have to, as men and as women, but I'm talking mostly about men because I'm a man. I have the biology of a man. I have the physiology of a man. And I have the sexuality of a man. We as men we have to be able to stop at whatever time during the sex act. If you're right about to come, if you can feel that it's about to happen, the orgasm, and your partner says, oh, stop, or please don't, or whatever, if you need to stop, you have to be able to stop. Straight up, point blank, that's it. You know, not every sexual assault or rape looks like a masked fucking invader in the parking garage, you know, just where it's pure sheer terror and survival and just trauma. Like horror movie trauma, like Irreversible with Monica Bellucci trauma. That movie is too much. But there are points. The whole thing is that if you are consciously engaged and entangled with another human being in the most vulnerable state, with the clothes off, with the lights off, supposedly enjoying some kind of passionate encounter, and you are so removed and disconnected from that person's humanity. Not only are you a bad lay, by the way, mama, get that together, but you are in danger of hurting that person and inflicting trauma that you will have no idea about in the future. This motherfucker has no idea. I'm sure of it. And more than that, he doesn't care. So that's the rub. He wanted to get his nut, and he didn't care that he was fucking stabbing my goddamn ass with his little stupid ass dagger dick. That fucking dagger dick sucked shit. I gotta tell you, it is just, you know, it felt like a weapon. It really fucking did, because his penis became weaponized. His little fucking 4-inch dong became a fucking dagger when his intentions got twisted. When he wasn't able to sort of quell, is that a word? When he wasn't able to deal with the masculinity which had been toxic infecting his brain and saying that the number one priority in this room right now is my fucking nut, regardless of the safety and comfort of other people. Never mind the bitch who is involved in getting that nut, the object of my desire. I'm gonna hurt this person because I need to have my orgasm. That's wrong thinking, and that is wrong action. I recently had an incident. Oh my god, I sound like Sweet Pussy Pauline. I recently had an incident. This motherfucker climbed on top of me, the little sticky. No, I'm gonna keep it serious. But I recently talked to a young guy in Boston, and he said, yeah, people, if you want to stop, if you reach a limit, and if you're, especially with a stranger, especially with someone you don't know yet, we're even if you say, okay, hey, oh, hi, I'm Greg, nice to meet you, by the way, I don't like fingers in my butt, and I haven't douched. Great. So you kind of know what's on the table or what's off the table. Or if it's like, hey, I'm Louis, I'm a really nice guy, I do math, and I love to get choked, but, you know, I have a safe word, and it's Fidelio, whatever. This guy that I talked to in Boston was like, people get disappointed. People get disappointed even when limits and goals and ambitions in the bedroom have not been discussed prior to meeting. Even sexual positions are unknown at the time of meeting. People get disappointed when you won't go all the way, or when you won't go where they want to go. If that's the case, you are just jerking off on another human body. And guess what? There is a whole universe of porn out there for your perusal. Okay? If you can't get your nut in a compassionate way, flip on the screen, mama, and support the fucking actors who are paid to give you pleasure, so that you don't have to go assault people. I know that porn is complex, and it's not a cure for toxic masculinity. If anything, it might of course be a part of the proliferation of it. But the point is two things. You've got to identify this need, and it is an evolutionary biological need. That's how we know it's strong, and that's how we know it's formidable, and that's part of the reason that it is so out of control. But you ask yourself today, when I'm trying to get my nut, can I say no to myself? And can I mean it, and then can I stop? If you can't, bitch, go back to kindergarten. What? That didn't make sense. But go back to high school. You need to have a second adolescence. You need to go through a second sexual emotional puberty with yourself, and you need to do it fast. Because at the very best, sex is like a great meal, and that's it. At the best, sex is a great meal with a person that you cannot wait to enjoy it with. That's the bottom line, cut and dry. That's it. It's not better than that. Fight me. Also, listen. But at the dinner table, this is where the analogy stops, because at the dinner table, you don't stab your fucking sister or your son or your friend Janet to go grab that fucking pork loin and stuff it in your mouth. We don't do that. Not even food addicts do that, and I know plenty of those. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. So tonight, what I did was I jerked off in order to avoid making any bad decisions in the future. I'm not at risk of sexually assaulting people. My bad decision is staying up too late. My bad decision is lingering when it's a little bit too depressing. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, my bad decision is just not taking care of myself. Other people's bad decisions are literally fucking raping people. That is their bad decision. And it's like blowing my mind. Like, it is insane the number of and when we put the alcohol in the body, that's all bets are off. That is not an excuse, but I'm just telling you, the people have rapey tendencies. Put the alcohol in their body, oh girl, Jesus Christ, get the fuck out of there. But the point is, I was able to do that because it's dispersing on. Hold on. Let me spit that out. I can't eat and chew. Eat and talk, chew and talk. I jerked off in order to avoid making a bad decision. Does it mean that I won't make any bad decisions after that? Hell no, bitch. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. Terrible decision for overall health and wellness. We have to say no to ourselves. No means no, and no means no, and you have to be a ninja about it. Because when you are a gross, powerful straight white man, you don't literally the thrust of your whole ambitious life is to dissolve the word. You don't ever want to hear the word no. No, I'm sorry, but Penny Marsh will not be merging with BP Oil. Sorry, CEO David, but we cannot. No, you want to hear yes, yes, yes. That supermodel will not be coerced into a date, even though you offered to pay her $20 million. Like, we don't want to hear the word no, especially these gross ass straight white guys. But, and I'm, not all men. I know not all men are rapists, but guess what? It's not time to hear that story. It's time to hear the stories of the women and men who are have been dealing and have been saddled with the fucking burden of sexual trauma. And I've been in both situations where, as a bottom, I'm like, listen, it is so, like, I cannot relax down there because I'm afraid of pain. Because that fucker stabbed me with his goddamn dick. And I've also been in the opposite situation where I've been with somebody who I'm like, oh, I'm so into this. Like, my boyfriend, I want to fuck my boyfriend sometimes. And guess what? Sometimes it's not time to fuck. I don't fucking rape him. I say, okay, let's do something else. Or lay here. Or watch fucking Mulan. I don't know. It is not that important. And it is so crazy, this like conflated, inflated, just incredibly amplified notion of sexual pleasure and sexual conquest and power dynamics and just bulldozing. And it is, look at it, every sector. Literally the fucking conquistadors of the human body. Men need to get it right. And it's scary. But yeah. It's crazy. I'm lucky. I don't know how people deal with the kind of assault that you see in a horror movie. Fucking Jodie Foster and The Accused. I just don't know. The ravages that many women and some men, have gone through. Okay, well that was fun. Sorry to be such a downer, but I haven't been I've been on Periscope in a while. I forget what the difference is. I know this one's operated by Twitter. Oh, and somebody gave me this shirt, which is so cool. It says, I love you so much, which is by the thing in Austin.
Like, I want to go take a selfie with it. Like, wow. It's very basic.
We had the best show tonight. Oh my god. Fucking Reinas Unidas was off the fucking hook. Well, long story short, gentlemen, if you like good juicy pussy, you need to learn first how to say no to that pussy that you love so much. Because when you hear that word, guess what time it is? It's been time to stop. Also, happy Thanksgiving, I guess. I don't know. Bye.